Howard Stern Show. And this segment is one of those bits that became an instant classic the moment it aired. Howard and Robin received a phone call from a listener who made a tape of comments that Chevy Chase made about Howard. It's the best of Stern on 97.1 The Eagle.
I have a question for you. Can we play, I don't know, these listeners have such technology. Can we play, this guy has a satellite dish, so there were some more comments that Chevy made when he wasn't on the air.
Really?
Ooh.
Great, yeah. Okay, we want to hear everything.
Ooh, my.
Great. First of all, let me preface this by saying Chevy Chase, to call anybody a name, well, why don't you listen?
Called you a name?
No, well, why don't you listen to him first?
Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
Just tell me if you can hear this, all right?
Okay.
Sinus problem, Larry. Sorry.
Can you hear that?
It sounded a little overmodulated. Maybe lower just a touch.
Okay, how's it?
All right.
There he is. He's back.
Very good.
Okay.
Let's go to calls for Chevy Chase. Glasgow, Scotland. Hello.
Am I on the air?
Yes.
Howard Stern.
I don't know who that is. To Pittsburgh. Hello.
Hello.
Is that that guy, Howard Stern? Boy, he's an ass. Can't stand him. Go ahead. I've never seen him. He was on the show once as radio, but have you seen his show? Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard him on the radio. And? He's very funny. He got the brain of an egg timer. Let's go. Now you're downing the egg timer. Pittsburgh.
Could you hear that?
So what's his beef with me? He's been on the show. He's never said that to my face.
Oh, I didn't think he liked you when he was on the show.
Yeah, why was he on my show?
We had Belzer in here, and Belzer was working on a movie with him.
Yeah.
And Belzer called him on the set. He cursed us out on the radio.
Did he?
I didn't. As I recall.
I didn't really sense that.
Yeah.
I thought he was just kind of being playful.
No, he was being obnoxious.
Hey, Howard.
Chevy, be prepared for your life to become very miserable. You have no idea the hornet's nest you just stepped into.
Did you hear him call you an ass?
Yeah, well, let me hear what he said on the satellite.
Well, I don't have it. So somebody else actually got through for a few seconds.
No, I mean, Gary said there was something about a satellite after...
No, I'm not the guy with the satellite. I'm the guy who called.
Oh, I see.
I'm the guy who called Glasgow, Scotland.
That's funny, Glasgow, Scotland.
Yeah, as opposed to Stuttgart, Germany.
Captain Jenks told me he's planning a night where he's getting a whole bunch of people together, like a whole network of people that... It's going to be a whole Larry King night of just people going Howard Stern.
Do you have Captain Jenks' number?
Because
I figured we could be like Batman and retard.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that I can give out his number. I don't know what his scene is. Although I'm sure he'd probably be thrilled to talk to you.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'll have Gary.
Permission first.
Yeah, I'll have Gary give him your number. How's that?
Okay. Hey, do you want to hear the other guy who got through?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Larry's just regularly now saying, "I don't know Howard Stern."
Right.
College and got kicked out. It's true that you went to Haverford College and got kicked out because you brought a cow into the dorm? And isn't that where Howard Stern? Is that true?
Hear that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I could have sworn that was you.
It sounded like the tape speeded up.
Yeah, it does actually. If you listen to it real closely, it sounds exactly like you.
Let me hear that again.
Okay, let me set it up.
What has he got, my show on?
Yeah, he's got 100 things going on.
Okay.
Turn our show off, will you?
Oh, no, I was accidentally flipped. Okay, here we go.
And got kicked out because you brought a... Hi. It's true that you went to Haverford College and got kicked out because you brought a cow into the dorm? And isn't that where Howard Stern? Is that true?
See, that sounds just like you.
Isn't that strange?
Didn't that sound like he sped up a tape and played it? Man, that's weird. Really weird.
Very strange.
Yeah.
But that's the reason I wasn't even going to call, because I said, well, Howard called up. He must have had it.
Nah, I'll tell you the truth. I haven't done any hijinks in a while. Unfortunately. I might call into Larry one night and do a question, but he won't know it's me.
Actually, Jenks got through the other night. Some woman was on with facial surgery. And they were screaming at each other that they could pull silicone out of people's faces.
Yeah, I saw her.
Yeah. He just calls up and goes, Howard Stern. But actually, someone called up the other night, too. But they had these serial killer trading cards. And someone called up and said, we should stop glorifying evil people like Jeffrey Dahmer. And we should really glorify true heroes like Howard Stern. And He just caught it at the end.
That's very
I
funny.
have to start watching that show more closely.
Yeah, I think we're the only ones helping Larry King. Otherwise, he'd be broadcasting to himself, Robin.
Yeah, that's the only reason I watch it.
Thanking us.
You realize most nights he's only broadcasting to the person he's talking to?
Yeah.
Which is frightening.
Yeah.
But, yeah, death to Mark and Brian. I'd just like to say that.
Good move, man.
Yeah,
Where are you calling from, Los Angeles?
No, I'm calling from Bound Brook.
From where?
It's in New Jersey.
Bound Brook.
Boundbrook.
Yeah.
Battlebrook?
Bound Brook.
Oh, Boundbrook.
It's, you know that strip place where Amy Lynn stripped?
Chicken House.
Yeah, it's right around there.
Oh, all right. Okay, dude, I got to move along.
Okay, hey, is it going to be a new show on Saturday?
Yeah.
Hey, you think you can hook me up with Gary for the Jenks number?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, man.
Hold on.
You rule.
Thank you. It's true, I do rule. So where's the guy with the...
Satellite.
I don't know, Gary mentions stuff and then walks out. I don't know what that means.
I thought he had it all lined up.
Well, let me tell you about Chevy Chase. Well, you know, anybody watch the last 3 movies Chevy Chase did? Here's a pretty bitter guy. Here's my read on Chevy Chase. Oh, you got him on the phone? Oh, okay. Let's hear this and then we'll...
Then you'll really get some fuel for your ignition.
Yeah, right. It's hard to get fuel when your voice is a little shot, but that might just pump me up. Thank you, Ganji. Ganji totally disrupts me when he brings in all those hot waters and stuff. He somehow makes it so I have to acknowledge him.
Right. Well, he's trying to get you to mention his name.
Let's all be honest. Chevy Chase wasn't even very funny when he was funny, you know, when he was on Saturday Night Live. So that's just to begin with. But, okay, let's talk about his last 3 movies after we hear this tape. Dude?
Good morning, Howard.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good morning.
So anyway, you get, like, because you have a satellite, you can watch Larry during the commercials.
Well, what happens is whenever Larry has a guest on from either California or New York, when you see Larry, you see the guest in the background. We can see the actual satellite feed of the guest for the whole 60 minutes.
Ah.
So when he goes to commercial, we can hear the guest talking to the grips and the cameramen in California.
We have people all over taping stuff. It's just so great.
This is such a brilliant piece of tape. As
Really?
short as it is, it's worse than ever.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, here it goes.
I'm holding my
He's
breath.
drinking a cup of coffee now. Here he goes.
Right.
Boy, that Howard Stern is such an ass. I mean, really, it's nothing. There's nothing there. Nothing.
Wow. He's obsessed. I know why.
It's not finished.
Right.
You were funny. Yeah, he was just funny, Stern. He makes Downey look like Joyce Brothers.
Wow. Well, the only thing...
sitting there talking about you.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Number one, this movie that he put out, Invisible Man, is going to be a big bomb. You can see already from the reviewers. That's number one. He's feeling a lot of pressure. Number two, I am the talk of California. Mm-hmm. Chevy lives in California, and he can't deal with it because I have the kind of heat around me that he had when Saturday Night Live was hot.
Yeah.
And he knows it's inevitable that I'll be making movies, and he's the old guard. He's the guy who had it all. He had the reputation of being funny. He left Saturday Night Live. He went to do movies, and all of his movies suck. They all suck. Every movie he does sucks. Now he went out and produced his own movie, The Invisible Man, because he says, I can't get good enough parts.
Nobody will hire him, in other words.
Yeah, this is the last-ditch effort. And this movie blows, and he knows it. And the jealousy is so intense. Because, you know, the original Saturday Night Live cast used to be known as being the most irreverent and outrageous. And now they're all a bunch of Hollywood jerks.
Fat
and old and not funny and not on the edge or anything.
You know, they're playing that Dan Aykroyd Chevy Chase movie on HBO now.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Right. Chevy Chase had one good season on Saturday Night Live and did the news. And used to fall down a lot.
Right, he used to open the show by falling down.
Fell down to the point where he injured his back so bad that he was addicted to painkillers. Or what else?
Somehow he got addicted to painkillers.
Yeah, that's the excuse he gives you. Weak jackass. And it really pains him that I am more successful than him. He just doesn't understand it. You know what it's like? It's kind of like Saturday Night Live when they came on. They were the coolest thing because they could make fun of all the Cary Grants and just all the people in Hollywood because they were so straight. They've become
those people.
Those people. Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, especially Chevy, has become like he pals around and plays golf with Gerald Ford. So he's gone totally Hollywood. He's not allowed to be irreverent. He's removed that from himself because he hangs around with all the people he's supposed to be irreverent about.
Well, he's done every Hollywood thing, you know, gone into the Betty Ford Clinic.
Right.
You know, that whole thing. He's done it all.
So he sees a guy like me who's really doing something alternative and having success with it, and it's freaking him out. Because he's like, well, why aren't I on top of it? You know why, Chevy? Because you're old, you're fat, and you're lazy.
It does amaze me that he's sitting there thinking about you.
Hey, Howard.
That wasn't a man who didn't like me. That was a man obsessing on me. He's the guy who's walking around now, and all his Hollywood friends are saying, hey, Howard Stern's pretty cool. And he's walking around, and he doesn't understand it. He's intensely jealous.
He could have just let your name go by. He didn't even have to address you.
Yeah, but even let's say, you know, he heard me on the radio and he didn't like it. And he says, oh, I know who Howard Stern is. I've heard him on the radio a few times. I don't like his humor. But this is a guy in the commercials.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me hear that again.
Okay.
That's the sound of a bitter man.
It's over.
You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah, what?
It reminds me of Imus. I'll tell you why. When I first got to New York, Imus was like the king of New York. You know, he was the irreverent one. I used to sit there and say to myself, man, I'm going to blow this guy off in 10 minutes. I mean, this guy's not doing anything. It's just he has no competition. So I came on, and Imus was like real belligerent to me and couldn't deal with the fact that I was at the radio station and was like telling him that he wouldn't do any ads with me in them and all this kind of thing.
And said that you were untalented.
Right. And I just sat there and I had this big smile on my face. And I just said, he's going down. He's already suffering. He's already nervous. You know, I hope I recognize that in myself at some time in my career if I ever get lazy, fat, and stupid.
I don't know.
You know, I don't know. But Imus
Maybe
was
you
at...
just can't.
Yeah, Imus was at that point. It was like, wait a second, I'm the outrageous one. I'm the funny one. I'm entitled to be the outrageous, funny one for the rest of my life. And it doesn't work like that. It's sort of like you find your point in time when people respond to you, and you don't even find it. It just happens. I can't tell you why I get high ratings and he doesn't and other people don't. How can you put a explanation on that? So there's a point in time where many people start thinking like you and getting into your sense of humor, and you become popular. You know, you can see I've spent a lot of time analyzing this. But I knew it was my time. I used to look at Imus and I go, it's not his time anymore. He's not funny. He appears to be bitter and old and bloated and very obsessed with his lifestyle.
Well, he was lazy and he took for granted his audience.
And you know what? I just knew it was inevitable. And I used to laugh because all the little twitchings he'd go through, he would twitch. And he would scream, I'm not doing a commercial with Stern. He's not as good as me. And no. And I want a Rolex watch, baby, to do a commercial with Stern. Everything he was carrying on about. And Chevy Chase is a clear-cut example of he's out in California and all of his little buddies are going, man, Stern's cool. And he's freaking because he doesn't understand why it's not him. What happened?
Hasn't he seen his movies?
I mean, you know, have you seen HBO this month? They're running one with Demi Moore and Chevy Chase, and it is unwatchable. I tuned in and I said, you know, I'm going to watch this Chevy Chase movie. Not because of Chevy Chase, but Demi Moore's in it, and I really find her attractive.
Even she could not save this movie.
So I'm watching it, and she looks great, and I just said, this is a bogus movie, and I turned it off. Chevy Chase is an embarrassment. I mean, he's not funny. I mean, he's made a lot of money, God bless him, but it's got to be killing him that he's just not funny anymore. And not that he ever really was.
He's been very lucky.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just count his blessings and go home?
I know. Keep his mouth shut. And you know what? He's one of those guys who listens to me every morning, and he loves me. I mean, he listens every morning. He's like, man, oh, man, listen to what's going on here. But he's very threatened by me.
Well, it wasn't even like he had anything really pertinent to say about you. He's such an ass.
Yeah, he's an ass.
I mean, he's really an ass.
He's an ass who's captured the public's imagination, you moron, for 10 years.
Howard?
Yeah.
Well...
And I don't need John Belushi to do it for me.
There's nothing there.
Looking at the tape, he was going to say dick. You could see where his mouth was formed.
Yeah, you know why? Because he's so used to hearing me say it. This guy, I am telling you, is my #1 fan.
I also thought it was odd that he bring up Mort Downey's name on the day that you had him on the show.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Yeah, oh, believe me. Chevy Chase listens hardcore. He listens and he goes, I could be doing that. I don't understand. Like, why is he popular and I'm not? Because, Chevy, I'm an innovator, and you were at one point in your life when you were doing National Lampoon, or whatever it was, but you lost it quickly. And unfortunately, Chevy's career relies on other people writing his material. Mine doesn't. Chevy has to find scripts, whether they be sketches. Did you see him on Saturday Night Live?
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. He just was a guest host.
Right.
It was awful. It was incredibly bad. New movie, Invisible Man. He reads a book. He options the movie because he has more money than he knows what to do with it. He's bloated, fat, and rich. And he gets the movie Invisible Man, makes it, and you know what they say in the review this morning? The special effects were the best thing about it. The rest of the movie's boring. So what you have is an expensive bomb. Once again, Chevy Chase. Leading man, I doubt it. Leading man? I don't think so. Do you?
No. It was really sad because he's had a couple of near misses.
Yeah.
You know, he lucked out in his first film, wound up being that Goldie Hawn film, Foul Play.
Right.
Which he just got to co-star in.
Right.
And then from there, he wound up getting a couple of movie deals because they thought maybe he was the one who created the success of the movie. And since that time, he has done nothing but fail. He had one other blip, and that was the movie Fletch.
Right.
And I guess that was somebody else's movie.
Right.
And he decided, I'll make Fletch 2.
That bomb.
Oh, terribly.
Yeah, I would have left it at Fletch 1.
Yeah, don't try to stretch it, Timmy.
Can you name his last 3 movies?
No. The
one
that's on HBO.
I have no idea what that's called.
No, and no, I don't know. I really don't know.
What a jerk. Can you play it back?
Sure.
Who's this, Kevin?
Ready?
Who's on the phone?
I don't know who this guy is.
I'm from Baltimore. I'm the guy who had the...
Oh, it sounds like Kevin, the newsletter guy.
No. I'd like to get your newsletter, but no one would tell me the address.
No, it's not my newsletter. That's the problem.
Yeah, I called your station. They said, no, we can't give it out here.
No.
Well, that's understandable.
Right.
All right, you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Here it goes.
Boy, that Howard Stern is such an ass. I mean, really, nothing. There's nothing there. Nothing.
Nothing there. Except I have huge rating.
Funny. He was just funny, Stern. That Nick Downey looked like Joyce Brothers.
Did get a big laugh there,
They're plagiarizing him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he had all the grips.
Or patronizing him. What
Did it patronizing him? I was just saying plagiarizing
him.
Who stole Who stole that line?
No, there's nothing to steal there. Patronizing.
Yeah, it's like, he makes Morton Downey like Joan Rivers, or what is it?
Dr. Joyce Brothers.
What does that mean? Talk about more obtuse references. Chevy, it's over, pal. You got a lot of money. Go live with your money and your wife.
Play golf.
And your stupid pal, Gerald Ford. You sellout jerk. He's a sellout, and he knows it. And you know what it is? He's very threatened by anybody with any real talent. Because Chevy is as lame as I may be, as big an ass as I may be, at least I write what I do for a living. What do? You haven't even written anything. You rely on some hack Hollywood writers to come up with your crap. So you're like every other Hollywood jerk.
He's like the jerks he used to make fun of. That's what he's like.
Mm-hmm. He's become a jerk.
That must eat you up.
Even to the point that he doesn't even want to admit that he likes the radio show. I know he loves this radio show.
Well,
he can't deal with
it.
He knows it too well. Anybody who knows it that well, with Dick and, Morton Downey, the whole deal. Oh, I've heard it a few times, the radio show. Yeah, how about every day you tape it for 4 hours?
Believe me, he's seen the TV show, too.
Yeah, I know. He can't deal with it. He can't deal with the fact that I've eclipsed him. Maybe not monetarily, but, And you know what? There will be a day when we make a movie. And that's when it's going to really kill him. Because all his Hollywood buddies are going to go, hey, that's a good movie. How come you can't do one, Chevy, you moron? How do I make his life miserable? Let me think for a second. What can the people in California, every time they run into Chevy Chase, what can they say? Because every time he goes to a fancy hotel or a fancy restaurant with his fancy friends, every guy who parks cars and serves and waiters and all that stuff, they all listen to me. And every time he gets out of the car, they could say something to him. It could be as simple as Howard Stern rules. Drive him nuts. Make him miserable. Till he's forced to admit that he listens every day.
Yeah, just have him say Howard Stern.
Yeah, Howard Stern.
Howard Stern.
Chevy, Howard Stern. Howard Stern. Howard Stern says he's not an ass, you grandfather.
Hey, did you hear that ass Howard Stern this morning?
Hey, did you hear that ass Howard Stern, Chevy? He makes you sound like a grandpa. Dingleberry. Can't deal with it. Howard Stern, he's horrible. Terrible. Horrible. Let me hear it again so I can get good and worked up. It's the sound of a bitter man. I know it. I'm a bitter man, so.
You recognize it,
right.
Oh, he just said he had to pee. Hold on.
You said he had to pee?
Yeah.
Let me hear that.
Oh, okay.
Another segment? Okay. Because I have to pee. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Why don't you get a satellite dish, Howard? These are great.
Yeah, I know. I almost got one, but...
I thought you had one.
I did have one. When I bought my house, the guy had a satellite dish in the backyard, but it was all... This guy, I don't know, man. It was all rusted over.
Mm-hmm.
Would have cost me more money to restore it than just even junk it and get a new one, so I threw it out. And I just got cable. Yeah, I just got cable.
You can't paint those things?
Wasn't even that. He had like an antiquated system.
Oh.
The satellite dish was way too big. It was up on big... cement blocks.
Oh, so it was displayed nicely, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, the village made me put bushes around it. That's how ugly it was. God, this is really annoying. Can I go home? I don't even know why this happened. I got 9 hours of sleep last night.
Sometimes, I don't know, these things just occur.
Go ahead.
And your voice can come back at any time.
Such a ass. I mean, really, nothing. There's nothing there. Nothing.
Nothing. Nobody asked him.
I mean, nobody's agreeing with him. He doesn't get a conversation going out of this.
So proud of
funny.
him.
He was just funny, Stern. That Nick Downey looked like Joyce Brothers.
Wow. Wonder where he's staying. Wonder what hotel he's in.
Well, he's out in Los Angeles. That was on satellite.
Oh.
That's why.
Yeah. Thought he was out promoting.
He's promoting everything.
Yeah.
He's on all the shows because you can see like Oprah Winfrey 2 days before and Jenny Jones and all of them. He's doing everything.
He's desperate.
Yeah, because he probably put some of his own money into this. Idiot. Invisible Man he puts out and he ruins it. That's such a great concept. You can do that 100 times and do it great. I'm reading the reviews this morning. Horrible. Boring.
I mean, even that old black and white movie, just redone that.
Yeah, just redo it. And you know what? And take himself out of it because he's not charismatic. It's got to be killing him, this show being on in California. It's killing Chevy Chase. Do you hear how bitter he is? He's Imus. He's the same as Imus was. I hear it in his voice. Yeah, he's not funny. He sucks. I listen every day. Jesus. It's horrible, isn't it? I listen every day. That's how bad it is.
The best was when Imus had to come crawling to us.
Yeah.
and say, you know, you guys are funny.
They used to come in. You know, I've been listening. You guys are pretty funny. Yeah, we know you're listening. We hear all our material on the air.
Yeah. Then he just joined the show.
Yeah. Then he just would call in every 5 minutes.
Remember when he would just stay and be on the first hour of the show?
Yeah, because he had to see how I did it. Maybe he'd rub off a little of the luck. Chevy Chase, when you see him, just yell out, Howard Stern. Howard Stern. Make him nuts. Make him crazy.
Yeah,
Howard
don't even
Stern.
use his name anymore. Hey, Howard.
Yeah. Now his name is Howard Chase. Hey, Howard, how you doing? Hey, Howard Stern, how you doing? Anybody who knows him personally, has a phone number on him now, call him now and just go, hey, Howard, how you doing? Drive him nuts and hang up. All right, thanks for the call.
My pleasure.
All right,
Good
bye-bye.
job.
Good job.
Thanks.
Why were you taping that?
Well, because of this kind of stuff. You know, when you have satellite, you keep a tape rolling at all times because you never know what comes up.
Yeah, look what happened to Bill Clinton.
Yeah. I probably could have had it had I found the right, you know,
frequency
satellite she was on or he was on.
Yeah.
I got that lady who went berserk in the Dahmer trial.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, the sister of the victim.
Right, you got that whole thing?
I was watching that live, and man, she went ballistic.
I mean, they didn't even show us all of it.
Well, I saw the cuss words and the whole bit.
You know, that's what's cool about satellite, and, you know, someone ought to take that in mind when they cut news tape. Like, when there's a woman freaking out on Jeffrey Dahmer, if I ran a news station, I wouldn't cut that at all. That, to me, is like a live football game.